to go? Yep. Good.
Got the Agostini back on D.
Yes. Do you want to scroll through the classes since nobody saw the classes on the way in last game?
Yeah, we'll go through the classes. The one thing that we will point out with the classes is we have the ability, and that's what's going to be so great about getting all your feedback during the beta period, is that we'll be able to tweak the classes as we need to keep balance. So with the different builds, as you see on the screen here, the graphs and some of the strengths and weaknesses that are written are still kind of placeholder, but when the beta goes live, those will all be updated. So definitely take what you're seeing on the class descriptions on our site and through the social channels that we posted yesterday as the more accurate kind of descriptions of what's there. And as you can see, we had the countdown timer, so we didn't get a chance to sort of go through all the classes, but we'll do that going into the next game as well.
Cool. What was the choice for using Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews on the cover?
Good evening.
Yeah, well, for us, what we did this year with the, we did do the cover vote, as everyone knows. So what we did was a little unique this year. We had one athlete from each of the teams that made the playoffs. And as, you know, the Chicago Blackhawks won the championship, and we had Toews and Kane as sort of the guys we had selected for the Blackhawks. So for us, it's awesome because, I mean, those guys, with the dynasty they've created in Chicago, this seemed a perfect fit for us, especially everything we're doing this year with the feature set as well. Like, we're so focused on the ability to play with your teammates, winning as a team, playing together. So they're a great fit for us, and just a great story too is two guys that are on the cover for the second time, both of them together. So
back in his defensive end together. Honolulu's moving the puck along the side. Good work with the stick. Great scoring chance here. He can start some danger here. Not there.
Oh, that puck's flowed up and just missed the side of the net.
On to Biggs. Missed the net.
That shot just squeezed through. I don't know how.
Someone asked about stick lifts and slashing penalties. How's that been?
On the stick. Gets it back.
Yeah, so we've looked back at poke checking and stick lifts as defensive tools. Everything within our game has been about balance and making sure that sort of the proper accountability, both when you have the puck that you need to protect it properly, and then on the defensive side that you need to execute properly to be able to get the puck back as well. So, what a pass. When it comes to stick lifts, you do need to be on the strong side of the puck. If you're trying to stick lift from the opposite side, there's a way higher chance you're going to get that slashing penalty. And then we also look at sort of the strength and the stick checking abilities of the players and the puck control of the player that you're up against, how quickly they'll be able to react. Because we know it was a big problem before where every time you try to stick lift a player, they would just get the puck back right away. So that'll be reflected more, especially if you look at the esports hockey league and the different player classes that are picked. If you've got the power forwards and the players that are a bit stronger on the puck, they're going to be tougher for the smaller players who to get the puck away from. But when it makes sense, that's when they kind of talk and play at the same time. Yeah, so it'll be oh, what a save. And then in terms of slashing, it's still part of the stick lift mechanic, but it comes into play when you're doing it at the wrong time, trying to go across the player's body to try and get that stick lift. So there's just an accountability doing it at the right time.
Just don't want to see a fight.
See a fight. We'll get a fight.
The Hawks in their own end controlling the play. In the defensive zone, possession still his. No shadow of the boards here.
Did the back skate get an improvement, or is it the same as 15?
So I think it depends on what you're thinking there in terms of the back skate. If in terms of control, looking at your ability to sort of cross over and stay squared up, we did so much work this year to facing. That skating in general, aside from the precision skating improvements that we put in, skating got much better just from facing alone. So trying to match up and keep pace and retain your gap when you're moving in and out and coming forward is greatly improved. You shouldn't see moments anymore where you're expecting to stay squared up where your player will turn, even with auto back skate turned on, and then for advanced users that are trying to use, like with auto backskate off, you'll have full control over what you want to do there. So you can take those couple hard strides forward before turning to face up with your backskate once you have a good gap, and it's much more solid.
Routine stop for the goaltender. The shooter's going to have
I guess just in general, there was a question about Doc on goal calls, but what did you guys do kind of to improve the overall commentary?
Yeah, so we worked closely with Doc this year. We told him the feedback overall, like how people were happy to have him in the game, and that it was actually really like a testament to how good of a job he does in the real world of broadcast, that people wanted to see us bring even more of that energy. So we worked closely with him and put him through the tests and trying to kind of really push that emotional level. So you'll see a bunch of stuff now when teams really hem another team in and they've got sort of a longer puck possession, that he gets more excited in those instances. And then leading right into goal calls, we added a bunch more sort of player names to those goal calls, because he's iconic for calling out players' sort of last names or even sort of their full first and last names when you score goals. So there's a lot of energy in those moments. And then there's even some specific goals calls if you score some really big goals, like if you score some overtime winners, or if you have that opportunity to score that overtime goal for a Stanley Cup victory, then you'll really hear Doc jump out of his seat.
Turns around back in his own end to try and get something better. Right into the slot. That's turned aside. Dream Killers carrying on in their own end. The arm comes
is there going to be player customizations for tomorrow's beta?
Yeah, so all the player customization is there. There's nothing limited. We talked about how there's a bit of a limit due to sort of size and want to make sure we get the beta out to everyone. But like in terms of teams, but for players, you'll be able to customize everything you will in the final product, right down to your skate lace color, the ear guards in your helmet, all the different tape jobs on your stick.
to the corner.
People can try out all the different facial hairstyles and beards and all that stuff too. So we look to see what people come up with. Manual sauce.
And the puck gathered in by Markov. Got to ice it here.
How many pauses?
Towards to Dahlbeck.
There's still 3 pauses in the game, so that's something that we'll continue to take feedback as well. We know that's a big sort of topic and sort of in terms of the community, sort of say why does there need to be pauses at all? You have an opportunity between periods, so we'll keep sort of listening to that feedback and see how it plays out in the actual beta period, and continue to add stuff to the wish list in terms of what's needed.
Can he generate something from there? Oh, here's a wrister. Terrific stop, and it's loose. Honolulu's lugging it through the center ice area. The clock bleeds down to the last minute. Can he generate something? He chipped that one off the boards and ahead.
Comments.
Guards the point well, doesn't he? Great glove grab. And he holds on.
The crowd sounds different. Did you guys improve that?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of changes to the crowd, both in terms of trying to make sure that they're more dynamic, flowing with the play, reacting to hits properly. You'll see if a goalie's making multiple saves, if they're getting that much more excited with each save as things get more intense. Adding a bit more sort of close chatter within the crowd too, through sort of different pockets to bring some of the individual voices to life. Your players, or our fans in the crowd, yelling at players to shoot the puck and to move the puck and that kind of thing too. We really want to bring that part of it to life to match some of the sort of the volume and the authenticity we had in terms of the number of crowd that we added in last year, that we want to get audio to take that next step this year too.
Save has kept his team in it. We have ended the period and he gets rest.
Can you clear the puck easier without it going over the board / shooting behind the net or behind center ice on net?
I don't know. I guess it depends on where you're having problems last year. I think that it really is in user control. Again, like I said with some of the other things, sometimes like little bugs along the way that we fixed through some of those things. We didn't necessarily change the overall mechanic for how to dump the puck in, but overall you have quite a bit of control in terms of whether you want to sort of send the puck on a long loft into the far corner, or whether you want to dump the puck in hard and then whether you're doing that sort of from, like, say, from behind center, if it, I guess the scenario would be on a PK or something like that. You should be able to keep the puck in play.
Yeah, I noticed it wasn't that bad anymore. Like last year, you would have pucks that would just kind of fly over sometimes, whereas this year it seems a little bit more controlled about your position and where you are.
Sometimes when you're
and those actually weigh in on, just like the regular shooting, like those have error too. So if you're actually like skating hard or rushing, the chance of error on those is actually increased to sort of simulate someone who's trying to kind of frantically get the puck out on the PK versus having time and being collected. So that might also be where you do end up seeing some of the error this year is at least it's tied to how frantic you are when you're playing the game.
I know we kind of talked about this, but there seems to be more questions about the indicator size and such. And if you, I guess you can turn them off or whatnot.
Yeah, you have the ability to change sort of like whether you see like the player names and stuff like that. You can turn those on and off below. In terms of the indicators themselves, we did switch the visual look over as part of our hint system for the on-ice visualizations. So the regular indicators followed suit. And we have taken the feedback from the community in terms of like overall scale. Right now, they're because they're more two-dimensional rather than three-dimensional. They're not like if you play from a really far camera angle away. And we saw some of the feedback from the EA Sports Hockey League video that went out. So when you saw it from the overhead camera, the icons are bigger in that view. They're sort of more of like a medium size compared to my player in the view that you see streamed right now from the dynamic medium camera. But if the closer you get, the smaller they'll seem. But we're trying to work on something that will how we can open up the opportunity for people to be able to change that either themselves or have it scale dynamically again.
Yeah, I think the other piece we'll add to that too is when we were first talking about different player class for the esports hockey, we were debating whether or not we could put an indicator to show what player class each player had on the ice, which is kind of how they ended up so big to start with. They were keeping that real estate so that they were visible while we game play.
Snapping a pass to Ramo.
Does the playmaker class have more speed and more agility than the rest?
Which one?
The playmaker class, does it have more speed and more agility?
Yeah, so across all the player classes, they actually have the same skating skills. That's where we're starting. So again, I'm sure that will be a constant debate throughout the beta, throughout the community as to which way we should go with skating. But overall, we wanted sort of more of the raw physical skills of the players, other than when it came to kind of like heights and weights and when it comes to hitting, because we sort of still saw that as a skill piece of the game and something that would balance. But we've got all the skating attributes are actually the same across the board right now, so you shouldn't see any agility advantages, speed advantages, acceleration advantages across any of the players. But if we find that we need to push some of those things to help the balance overall, that's something that we can definitely experiment with when we sort of listen to the overall community and how it plays out. But it's kind of nice right now that it's sort of up to you. If you make a mistake and you get caught sort of with a bad step, that you can't overcome that just by having speed on your player. So it really comes down to playing smart positionally, which really plays into the team aspect of the game.
Great opportunity here.
We're hanging our feet out to dry.
Jeez. Will all the camera angles be available on the beta?
Yep, you'll be able to go in through all the options. You'll be able to set all the different cameras and try them all out. Definitely encourage people to try out the dynamic cameras again with the auto zoom turned on to see how that feels, all the way up to stuff like the overhead camera to give us feedback on where we can continue to improve there too, or whether that's suiting what people need.
Question about enforcers. Are they good at defense or are they only good at fighting?
A little bit of both. They're definitely physical on defense. They lack some of the skill parts of defense. They won't have as great sort of stick checking, but because of their size and their strength, they'll be able to run people out into the boards, and you'll be able to use them that way on defense for sure.
It's not necessarily how hard you shoot the puck, but it's the release. What a beautiful forehand shot.
That's pretty rare these days.
He doesn't get much of this at all.
Oh yeah, I saw that earlier. Are you guys going to be releasing the player overalls and stuff again, or is that going to be like
player ratings?
Yeah.
Yeah, we will we'll unveil those. I'm not sure the exact date when they're going to go live, but that's something we'll roll out before launch.
Picks it up in his own end.
Wow.
Wow, what a hit. What a mean-spirited hit.
Oh,
that was a huge steal. I was just about to go into pass block too, so I think that's why I went into the deep there.
Oh, somebody asked, who are your guys' favorite players?
There, Enzo, off the defender and in.
Ben Ross. NHL? I don't know. I tend to be a Stamkos fan. I tend to become fans of players that we work with and that like the game, play the game, and stuff like that. So I'm a Stamkos fan. I'm a Heady Black fan. He was great to work with this year as well with the goalie stuff. So he's a huge fan of the game as well. So I'm a Heady Black fan.
Yeah, I think like working on the game, it's interesting. You sort of you grow up in your hometown, you start to like have affinity for your hometown, but the more that you work on a game like this, you start to really appreciate the other things, and you find yourself starting to like some of these players on these sort of bitter rivals and stuff, your hometown team. So it's pretty interesting how you start to kind of really appreciate the fans of the other teams and stuff like that as you get the opportunities to visit some of these other buildings. It was amazing when we were in Chicago this year with an opportunity to record with Doc and Eddie and see sort of how alive that building is. We got an amazing fan base there. And you start to kind of appreciate what some of those players can do there too, where when you're sort of watching it on your couch at home, they're playing against your team, you don't like them as much, but you start to really like some of the other players in the league, so an opportunity to just kind of like appreciate the sport and some of the other teams in general.
Another question is, oh, they're still requesting a fight. Jeez.
Quick work on the face-off.
After the game, if you get a win, is there like win celebrations?
Yeah, so there's new stuff that you'll see during the intros to match some of the things that are iconic in some of the different arenas and stuff around the league, and then you'll see that for the celebrations as well. So you'll see a team like the Rangers saluting their fans and that kind of thing. And then there's some unique stuff in there that will sort of leave for people to kind of find on their own when certain players are in the lineup or certain teams are playing and stuff like that too. But yeah, you'll definitely see some different outros and celebrations.
And we look at the opposition bench and do not see a white.
Everybody just wants a fight. Are the hybrid controls still present, or just the skill stick?
Yeah, you still have the hybrid controls. Overall, we're trying to with the new on ice, like on the on ice trainer and visualizations, trying to teach everybody the skill stick controls. But you have the ability to go back and use some of the button controls of hybrid controls as well.
Not by Ross. Keeps it going up the wing. Zone to zone to Markov.
And can I play?
Wonderful chance.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Goes wide.
Yeah, tomorrow's the day.
Yeah, so once again, I kind of keep touching on it, but yeah, the beta drops tomorrow, but again, we don't have, like, there's no set time exactly. It won't be like 12:01 in the morning. So just make sure to get some sleep, and whenever Sony and Microsoft will update their marketplaces, it'll be available. So they could be near the same time, they could be 2 hours apart. It's all dependent on when they do it.
Yeah, I just want a good opportunity just to reiterate that we're really looking for feedback for everyone that plays it. So play the game and give us your feedback so we can just really start to dial in the experience and get it right before launch. So I'm looking forward to hearing all the feedback from you guys.
Is there going to be like a survey, or are you guys just kind of looking for feedback on the forums?
There's a survey monkey that people will be able to use, and also through the forums as well. So we'll be looking at every single day and just pulling up.
Penalty kill comes through. Now we're back even.
Can you join back in games when you leg out?
Unfortunately not. That's definitely something that we're looking into. We know people really like that, and that side of it, and then also the potential of joining in with your friends if you're sort of there a bit late. So yeah, definitely something that's on the wish list that we're tracking, but not for this year.
Second period of this game.
Is there mascots for ESHL clubs if you choose the NHL jerseys and our logo?
Yeah, so what we're doing is you definitely get the fans in the crowd will be wearing the same jerseys that you're wearing for your teams. And then if you do have a team that has a mascot, you can see there live on the stream in all his glory, Tommy Hawk following suit with the hometown team there because they're wearing the Chicago Blackhawks uniforms.
In EASHL, can you play with multiple players on the same console?
not for EA Sports Hockey League, but we did bring back Couch Co-op. You will be able to get online and online versus games and stuff like that and play with multiple people on the same console. And then, yeah, you sort of hear the request from the community in terms of EA Sports Hockey League, but not for NHL 60. Who do we got on our team that can fight? Agostini?
Opening face-off of the third.
Get him.
Started it.
Next face-off.
It's gonna fight.
Lid to D'Agostini.
Oh,
Tripped up on the play. And
oh, that one right there, chopping the legs out.
Honolulu sent to the box for 2 minutes.
Someone fight Ben.
Jeez.
Dream Killer's power play gets another chance to operate. Hasn't been effective yet.
Can every class fight, or is it just like certain classes, or can you still just try and start fights?
Yeah, every class can fight. Obviously,
On their own
if
end, lug that puck along.
you've got sort of more of the playmakers and the snipers, you're not going to fare too well if you're matched up against them.
Oh, wow.
Find the target. You know,
That's the best they'll set you up all year.
Nothing there. He tried to be too fine.
Jeez.
So on this power play, they will resume from their
All right,
own
let's get a
end
fight.
of the ice. Passing one off now to D'Agostini. Loose puck captured by Ramo.
Ooh.
Save! Marches on a cross. Really good move.
Oh, good try. Next face-off, I'll fight with nobody else starts in there. Just my playmaker that fast and see what steps out.
Oh, his hands are so soft.
Penalty kill. Loose puck brought in by Ross.
Oh, yeah.
Cut
Oh,
through
nice.
and angled to Ramo. He heads right for the net. Ramo's tripped up. That should be a penalty. Honolulu's got 2 on this one for tripping.
Power play.
This has been a power
We'll
play.
go for the power play first.
Yeah.
See if we can get something on the board in this
That'll
game.
change with this.
Break that
Hawks
goose egg.
hopefully switching defense to offense in their own end. Drag between the blue lines. Knocks it away with the stick. All right, now there's some, and for sure he'll be taken to task.
Oh, the boss.
Oh, walked into one.
Oh, no. I'm up. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's what happens to a playmaker.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mismatch.
The mountain. Jeez. Somebody's asking who's the best NHL player out of the devs.
We actually did an internal tournament at the end, so yeah, one of our software engineers actually won the whole tournament. So shout out to Eugene, who dominated this year. Actually, when it got to the final, it was a really close 2-1 game, I believe. So yeah, but yeah, with across our team, so many people playing the game, we're at the end, doing it at the end when everybody's pretty good at the game. That's a pretty big accomplishment. But yeah, I think I was knocked out in the second round or something this time. I couldn't even make the third round.
D'Agostini.
Will you see players enter the ice in the intro in ESHL?
Shooting.
Not entering the ice. We still sort of followed the NBC broadcast where they're kind of joining in sort of midway through the intro, sort of right when Doc and Eddie come in there. But you will sort of see the sort of the intro taking place in the background, but not entering the ice. But we do have all the proper tunnel locations, so when they exit the ice post-period or during the misconducts and injuries and things like that, you'll see the home and away teams using all the proper tunnels now since we have them accurate from all the proper architecture that was put in last year.
Is there any special goal celebrations?
A lot of the single-user goal celebrations are the same, but I think that's something that we're looking at in terms of customization for the future, opening up the opportunity for people to do some cool stuff in the way they express themselves that way.
Because yeah, it is for like the offense.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely looking for places where we can be more authentic to the real world, trying to find some stuff that's authentic to superstars within the NHL, and then open up some opportunities to in the esports hockey league. But for now, we focused on the a lot of like the aesthetic sort of change in terms of like the equipment you can pick, varieties and styles there.
Everyone keeps asking me about ESHL team practice.
Yeah, So yeah, we don't have that, but we sort of definitely have that on the list as well. Just practice mode in general, you know, the people want that back, and then the opportunity to bring that back to the EA Sports Hockey League. But yeah, first and foremost was to make sure that we had the league there back. We're really excited to have the EA Sports Hockey League back, and hopefully we'll get people to get on the ice, and definitely use the beta period as your opportunity to practice, because we will be resetting the servers and stuff, so take some risks, play with different classes, give us feedback in terms of where the balance needs to go, because the losses won't mean much until the game goes live, so don't worry about those sort of blemishes on your record, and practice up as much as possible during the beta window so we can get things rock solid for the launch.
Will every player grow a beard in the playoffs?
The players who should grow beards will grow beards, just like the authenticity in terms of all of our equipment and trying to get all that stuff accurate for all the players. We've had guys going through and making sure to assign the right types of beards and the lengths that they can grow to and stuff like that. So some of the younger players will have trouble growing some of the fuller beards you'll see from some of the wily vets.
Yeah, I saw Crosby's, so it was pretty patchy.
Still a little bit patchy.
Maybe I'll get there soon.
Buckled there.
Yeah, he's buckled hard. That was the sniper taking fist to the face.
Will ESHL playoffs be monthly?
Yes.
EA Sports Hockey League, yeah, playoffs are monthly, and then we're going to keep an eye on sort of how that goes as well.
He's got his second.
6 buzz.
Is there any kind of player suspensions?
No player suspensions right now, but again, that's something that's been heard throughout the community as well.
When you get a game misconduct, does it show you leaving the rink?
Yep, so definitely because we have the ability to show the players in the tunnels now and have them in the authentic locations, we can finish that thread and show players who are both injured for a game or who have misconducts leaving the arena.
And gathered in by Ross. Forcing the goalie to crane left.
Are you guys thinking of adding a couch co-op for hockey?
Cleared out, and that forces them to drop.
We've heard about that. We've heard that too, so it's definitely something we'll look at moving forward. So, yeah, it's on the list.
Picks it up in his own end. Oh, a great reaction there as that one was tipped on goal. Right near the goal stripe in the corner to Ross. Puck is thrown to Chris. Honolulu's carrying it on through center ice.
We'll be doing over the next, leading up to launch here over the next kind of 4 or 5 weeks. We'll be doing deep dive into the game notes as well, and getting into every kind of nitty-gritty detail. So lots more mode information to come as well.
So physically finished just about every check in the defensive zone. Much like some of the components you were talking about when you highlighted them in your opener.
Is there going to be any kind of leaderboards during the beta?
Good job tying the man up.
It'll still run the same leaderboards that are there, sort of post, but like I said, those will get wiped, but all the stuff that's there, it'll keep your team stats and keep your player stats as it will with the
still has
official
control
product.
through the neutral zone. That puck is wired in. Pass comes to him from the crease. Dream Killers continue on in their own end. Mashed in. Back in his defensive end to get it. Still on the move in their own end. Oh, what a mean hit that one was. That's probably going to bring an answer. Oh, broke it up. Try to clear the puck, and that one's sent back out. Puck shot out into the bench.
Honolulu's clearly the aggressor all the beginning of the game, but in particular this period, they've started to take over physically, and as a result, they've...
Another question.
Hey, on the board.
Nice. There we go.
Fast, didn't they?
I'm green. Jeez. Will you be using this revamped ESHL to try and promote more competitive esports play via streaming top ESHL teams on your main Twitch account, broadcasted tournaments, or etc.?
Nice fake, shakes him loose.
It's definitely something that's come up as more and more people play the game, and I think that's where the focus to really make sure that we have real strong
And down to Biggs.
balanced gameplay. So if we get to the point where that's working really well, we'd love to see it get to that spot, both in terms of people creating their own sort of tournaments and leagues and things like that, and then seeing where we can maybe take that in the future too.
And play stopped because of an offside.
Did you want to talk about the changes to passing at all?
Yeah, so a lot of changes to passing. We heard a lot of feedback after last year that people wanted more manual control over passing. Last year was an interesting opportunity for us to see because in NHL 14 there were some limitations to be able to snap the puck around on the power play and stuff like that too, because you're always having to power the puck up sort of with like a quick tap being kind of a slow pass. So we took that kind of knowledge and made our minimum pass speeds a bit higher, but you still now this year have full control over the power of your passing just with a slightly higher minimum. And then also looking at sort of the direction of your pass too, giving people more control so they can make sure they can bank, be more creative, bank pucks off the boards, throw pucks to space, and that kind of thing, which was obviously the feedback from last year was that we weren't quite there. So some pretty big changes to passing, and then on the receptions of passes too, making sure that players can't pick up pucks really easily if they're skating away at full speed and trying to pick up a puck on their backhand compared to opening up properly. And that's where the facing angles became so important too, was making sure that we gave you the tools to be able to square up, because we couldn't have sort of hit you negatively and not allowed you to pick up passes if we didn't give you the opportunity to square up when you needed to as well. So all those things really go hand in hand with one another.
Tampa Bay's got it.
2 minutes for boarding. Time of the penalty, 19 minutes, 44
Directing that one to Markov. Onside.
Is there going to be any kind of playoffs during the beta?
Probably no playoffs during the beta, just given the limited duration of time.
The game is over.
I think what we'll do now this game's over, and get the puck kick. Maybe we'll go back in one more time. We'll take a look at and Victor spend time through player classes real quick, and maybe we'll wrap it up with that.
Extremely
Just
pleased with the
questions, take
energy
more
and
questions as
effort
well.
that their team played with.
I've had a couple questions about the goalie control and stuff. What was kind of the idea behind those?
Yeah, so for goalie controls, the high-level goal for esports hockey league and for unique player control in general was although to balance first and foremost, but then also giving ultimate control from every single position. And with all the requests over the last few years in terms of people playing manual goalie wanting more, it was the perfect opportunity to look back at that and make sure that we gave that position sort of the attention it deserved as well. So we looked back at what the goalie was able to do, what was limiting them from being able to do some stuff before. So playing an online position and a position like goalie where the pucks move in 90, 100 miles an hour, it's tough to give full manual control over saves. So you still do have sort of, the AI will sort of help when you're in a position, but all the desperation saves and stuff like that, moving in the crease, you won't feel locked in. You have manual control over that, and over the core movement as well, making sure that you can really push off when you need to kind of do those T pushes out to the opposite side of the crease, sort of over bigger movements, and then having finite control over smaller movements with the precision control. So with that, we changed some of the controls on the controller to mimic that as well, knowing that people would be switching back and forth between precision and regular motion for the T pushes a lot more. So we sort of changed the way that we use the shoulder buttons and the triggers to accommodate what we felt people were going to use the most often.
So I think we're just, like Rammer said, we're just going to go through the player classes a little bit so they can kind of discuss.
So are we ready to start matchmaking?
Yeah, we'll have to kind of go through there really quick because of the timing seconds it's on there. But then we can continue to talk about them a little bit after too, especially if there's any sort of questions that roll in.
Yeah, I'd say you can probably just go through all the forward classes, just kind of show them off and then talk about them.
Yeah.
Once you're ready, tell Marco.
Oh, Marco, come on. Oh, he backed up. And he's in charge.
Yeah, so we had mentioned it before, but for those that didn't hear, some of the graphs that are there and some of the strengths and weaknesses that are listed will be updated before the actual beta goes live. That's all stuff that we can change dynamically, and that's why we really want to take the feedback from everybody. So as you can see, I'm sort of going through there's There's the power forward, the two-way forward, the enforcer class as a forward. We saw people talking about whether there's an enforcer on offense and defense. There is on both sides. Because I'm in a forward position, I can only pick from these forward classes, but there's a defensive defenseman, offensive defenseman, two-way defenseman, and an enforcer class on D as well. But you can see sort of from sort of the grinder is sort of like a player that you're obviously going to pick to sort of grind out in the corners and win pucks back and use more of their size. They do have the added advantage of having good hands, so that they're a really great player to have in front of the net as well, if you're looking for deflections and that kind of thing. So that's sort of their added advantage, whereas a two-way forward is a little bit more average across the board offensively. They don't really have any massive issues on offense in terms of negatives, but they're not going to excel at either passing or shooting, but where they'll really excel is sort of winning pucks back.